doing really well. First off, I like to start off with a little bit of humor. So has everyone heard the joke about the frog that tried to get a loan? Well, if you haven't, you're in for a treat. But if you have, buckle up. It's kind of bad. So once upon a time, there was a frog that didn't have a house to live in, and he needed a mortgage. So he went into the banker, and their banker's name is Patty, and goes up to the banker and says, "Patty, I need a loan." And Patty says, "Well, what kind of collateral do you have?" And the frog said, "I have nothing. I don't have any down payment, no cash. I just have a bunch of knickknacks just around my house. That's all I've got." So the banker Patty goes back. Her name is Patty Whack. She goes back to the bank manager, and the manager looks at her situation, looks at the frog, says, "He's got a bunch of knickknacks, Patty Whack. Give the frog a loan." There you go. So I warned you guys. I warned you it was a bad one. But
that was bad, Sean.
that was bad. Knickknacks, Patty Whack, give the frog a loan. Hey, come on. Some of you guys know that old.
Happy
Okay,
Monday,
I
everyone.
digress. Comedy is not my forte, but I do like comedy. So anyhow, let's jump right in and go ahead and get started here. So remember last week we talked about what's happening in the mortgage industry due to like the employment numbers affecting rates. And a couple weeks back, we had the headline news, which was bad. Boo, it was inaccurate. It said there was 272,000 new jobs. If you look at the real numbers, it was actually a job loss. It wasn't good news. Now, what we got last week was music to my ears. I was excited to hear it. And this is what Mr. Powell said in the meeting when the feds were on the mic. This is what he said. Payroll jobs are still coming in strong. There's an argument that they may be a bit overstated. Duh, he actually admitted it. And then he said, but still they're strong, which is, again, not true. And then he says, we see gradual cooling, gradual moving towards better balance. Again, Mr. Powell wants the unemployment rate to be 4.2%. That's his target. So he gets a big Pinocchio. That's what Mr. Powell gets. So yes, sir, he's anyhow. So unemployment, let's look at it because the Fed goal is 4.2. And let's jump into this real fast. So this is the Fed's prediction. So each of the Fed members have a like a survey that they do on what they think what the market will look like in regards to their positioning for unemployment and how that will impact them voting to raise or lower rates. Now, 16 of the 19 Fed members believe that the unemployment rate through the end of the year will only get to 4.0 or 4.1. Okay, so 16 out of 19 members believe it's only going to go to 4.1. Only 2 members believe that the unemployment level will get to 4.2 or above, which is the Fed's goal in order to start cutting rates. So if we hit 4.2 by the end of the year, it's going to quote unquote surprise 16 out of the 19 members. Okay. Now, the Fed has already said if there's a surprise in the numbers, that will lead us to cut rates sooner. And what we're going to be looking for now is that unemployment rate to surprise everyone. And if that comes in at 4.2 before the end of the year, then we'll probably get a rate cut before the end of the year. If it doesn't, don't expect any rate cuts through the end of the year. So we need a surprise. And again, if 16 out of 19 are predicting only 4.0 to 4.1 and we get a 4.2, that'll be the surprise that we need to really jumpstart the rates dropping. So let's look at inflation because we had some really interesting news last week. We had the consumer price index for May come in, and month over month, it was only 0.01%. So that's the headline. So it went from year over year 3.27 from 3.4. That's great news, guys. So that means the inflation number for the CPI, Consumer Price Index, what you and I pay for goods, that went down, and that's a really good sign. So you'll see on the charts when we look in just a little bit what that looks like. And then the core was 0.16. It went from 3.6 to 3.41. So again, a little bit better on the inflation rate, which is really good. Now the CPI, what is included in this? If you look at these numbers, this may be a little exhausting to look at, but if you look at the shelter costs, it's a huge percentage of the overall core rate for CPI. So 45% of the inflation is shelter, which is rents. And then there's this owner equivalent rents. Now, what is that, you may ask? That, believe it or not, this is what our government in all its wisdom is using for 33% of the inflation number. This is a survey of people that own properties, and this is what the survey asks. How much would you rent out your home for if you had to rent it? That's literally how they gauge this number. So if I say, well, I'll probably, rent mine for $5,000 a month, and the actual average is 4,500, what do you think that's going to do to this number? So interesting. I don't know why they have that. And lodging away, that's like hotels and that type thing. Motor vehicle insurance is 3.7% of the core. And year over year, that's up 20.3%. That's a huge inflationary number. So really kind of scary to see how high insurance has gone. We've all felt it in our pocketbooks. I've got 3 teenagers. I've definitely felt it. So consumer price index overall has come down. That's a good thing. The producer price index, this is the wholesale inflation, right? The producers, how much it costs for them to produce. That was 0.2 month over month, or negative 0.2, compared to what it was estimated at 0.1. So another good reading for inflation. So excited to see that, because we all thought inflation was going to be a little stuck, a little sticky. So it was a good couple days of inflation data. And what did that do to mortgage rates, you may ask? Well, let's take a deeper dive into this. But first, a little prediction here. Another mortgage humor for you. So, customer, what will rates do this summer? My answer from Mr. Crystal Ball: they will go up and down. There you go. They will go up and down. We all know that. But a little mortgage humor there. So let's look to see what exactly the candlestick charts are showing us based on the trading of the mortgage-backed securities. And this is what drives interest rates. So if you look here on the charts, I'm highlighting down here, you can see last week we had boom, whoop. We had 1, 2, 3 days of great data. 4th day, we kind of bounced around a little bit. And then what happened today? Well, as you see, we went right up to this Fibonacci level. The wick went all the way up, and then it bounced down. Okay, it went all the way up to this Fibonacci, or this, I think this is the 50-day moving average. And then the next day broke through that, went all the way up to this Fibonacci, then bounced down, went up to it again and bounced down, went up to it again and bounced down. So this is a stubborn level of resistance here. Again, we saw that happen a couple weeks back. It went up to this and bounced, and then went up to it and bounced way down. We bounced way down again today based on manufacturing numbers. Now, I got a little confused on this because I saw the manufacturing numbers, and it said that the manufacturing, instead of being negative 0.15, it was negative 0.06. And I thought, well, that's not good. So I dug in a little deeper, and this is what I found. This is the New York Fed manufacturing survey. Okay, the red is what they expect. So they were expecting 30.1 as a grading on the New York economy, kind of what's happening in New York. Okay, we got negative 6.0. But because it was better than the last one, we were at negative 15.6 the last month. Because it was better than negative 15.6, it was negative 0.60. The markets lost stuff in the bond market. Now, how can that happen? I question like how things happen. It's better, yes. It's not negative 15, it's negative 6, but it's still much worse than expected. So how did the bond market lose 18 basis points today? And I think it has to do with just the trading on the candlestick charts. Like they pushed up against this level of resistance and bounced back. So I'm expecting tomorrow we're going to have some more numbers that come out. I'll talk to you about that in just a second, to potentially with retail sales to potentially push us above this level, which if it goes above this level, we'll see rates continue to improve. If not, we're going to be just kind of stuck in this little, in this range right here. So we'll continue to watch that. But as we look at this, we want to see what the 10-year is doing as well. And it bounced off its. Remember, when the 10-year goes down, rates go down. So it went down, down, down. Mortgage rates went down with it. And then it bounced off this level here and went up. So it still has a lot of room to go upwards. So we're watching rates very, very carefully right now because we don't want to lose anything. If we have any new contracts coming in, we're going to float very, very carefully to try to get some better numbers tomorrow. And here's what's happening tomorrow. So retail sales. Again, this is what's happened today, New York Empire Manufacturing. That's the only thing that happened today, yet rates are worse by a little bit, not a lot, on numbers that still are terrible, but that's another conversation. Retail sales tomorrow. Now, last reading was down 0.3%. So it was negative 3.3%. And the rates improved by 50 basis points. So if we get a weak retail sales number, which all signs are pointing towards either weak or flat tomorrow, like no growth, we may see rates rally tomorrow because the consumer is still under pressure. So we're still continuing to see signs that the levels of debt are continuing to increase. The levels of defaults on debt for 90-day defaults on credit cards is increasing. So what the number is predicted to be lower. So low retail sales. And if this is a surprise, if for some reason this is higher, I'm going to question that because all of the rest of the data is showing different. So we also have the industrial production coming out tomorrow. Retail sales are coming out tomorrow for autos. And then we have a bond auction. Now, last week, early in the week, we saw bond auctions. We had a 3-year and I think we had a 15-year, maybe a 10-year. But I'll have to look back. But the bond auctions went really, really well. And they were graded in A, which is rare. So we saw market improvements on the bond market last week. So that was really, really good. Will we see that again in the 20-year bond auction tomorrow? Let's keep our fingers crossed. And then Thursday, I circled these because building permits and housing starts, we're going to see what these numbers look like because we do have a housing shortage. We've had it for a while, and this will give us some good insight as to our builders picking up the pace, our new home build starts accelerating, are they decelerating? And then we've got some employment numbers on Thursday. So let's hope that tomorrow we get some retail sales that are weak. Bond market is closed on Wednesday, and then Thursday, let's see how the housing starts are going and see if we can get some higher unemployment numbers here on initial jobless claims. So we'll see what happens, but that is your Monday morning update for today. If you guys haven't joined in on Aaron Hodson's coaching, some really, really great things that he's going over. He has everything already put together for you to look like a superstar. All you have to do is join our complimentary coaching. You're going to get all of it for no cost to you. It's going to have things like the full pre-listing kit with like the pre-manufactured boxes and everything that you can order to have shipped to your listings for pre-listing kits. It's got everything you can ever imagine on how to take your business to the next level. And we're giving it to you guys complimentary. It's on us. We are covering the cost for it. So if you haven't joined Aaron Hodson's free coaching that we're offering, please do so. It is an absolute great value because it does cost and it's not cheap, but we are providing it free of charge to you. So
Sean, I just want to add to that too, that I did send out, almost everyone should have the link to sign up. If you don't get a hold of me, I can send that to you. Also, we are planning our very first, we're going to be doing monthly coaching sessions with him, with our group via Zoom. The first one is going to be Wednesday, July 17th at 9 in the morning. So that's going to be our very first coaching session where we kick off. So you will get information leading up to that. You can go ahead and jump in the program before that and see what all there is to offer. But that will be our very first monthly session. So if you haven't already signed up, let me know. I can give you the QR code to sign up and you'll be ready to go.
Perfect, Christy. Thank you so much for that because guys, I'm telling you, I've seen newer agents, brand new agents come in and follow Aaron's lead, and their business has just blown up. So in a good way. So I do urge you guys to take advantage of that, be a part of it. And as we go into the summer, a lot of people think it's time to slow down and take some time. No, don't. This is, you put the pedal to the metal. Let's get through the end of the year in a rock star fashion, and we will help you do that. So any questions on what's happening with the market or any weird scenarios that you've heard that you may want answers on, that's what this next few minutes is for. So don't be shy. Take your mute off and ask away.
I have a question.
Sure.
So this last week, or I don't remember when, but Trump had said that he would cut corporate taxes. Now, my question, it just got me thinking, can and how can that be done, and how would that affect rates?
It's affecting rates, maybe not so much. We have one of the highest corporate corporate rates for taxes in the world, which might sound strange, but one of the things that we can really help our economy is to kind of bring back the jobs to here, or entice companies to not do business in other countries where they get tax breaks. So that's the whole idea behind lowering the corporate tax rate, is to help keep everything here. As far as how that affects mortgage rates, let's see, if it lowers the cost of doing business, that would lower inflation. So if it makes doing business cheaper, the cost of goods cheaper, that would bring inflation down as well. Because if you ship it off somewhere, if you have it expensive here and you're stuck here, your corporation is here, it's going to be more expensive. So what does that do? It drives prices higher. So to keep people here, or to keep the domestic product cheaper, lowering the corporate tax rate will do that. That could bring inflation down. So I could see it helping that way. That would take some time because of all of the supply of product that we currently have. It'll probably be a slower play, but that could help in that arena. Good question, though.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? There's no bad question. The worst question is the one not asked, all right? I'll stay on for a few more minutes if you guys do have some lagging questions. Otherwise, enjoy your week. Hopefully, we'll get some really good news with bad or slower retail sales numbers tomorrow. And then hopefully the bond auction goes well. And then unemployment number on Thursday. Hopefully that'll be a little higher unemployment. So keep our fingers crossed for bad news in the economy, right? Terrible to say, but that's just how it is. So I'll stay on here for a little bit longer, guys. Enjoy your day, and we will be in touch.
Thanks, Sean.
Absolutely.